future.
Hello everyone, welcome to Metaverse One special video recording. We are here at the M365 Community Conference at Orlando. With me is Adam Deltinger, I'm Vesa Nopanen, and we are organizing the Metaverse One 2024. With me I have Navjot and Carlos. Welcome, it's a pleasure to have you here. And of course, yes, there's a mesh connection here. Can you start by telling a bit about yourself and your role at the Microsoft?
I'm Navjot Virk. I am the head of product and design for Microsoft Mesh at Microsoft. I've been at the company about 24 years, so a long-time Microsoft veteran.
Hi, and I'm Carlos Aguilar. I lead the engineering and science group for Microsoft Mesh, and I've been at Microsoft, ever since '99. So I'm not even counting the years; it's somewhere in there. But yeah, excited to be here with you.
Yeah,
welcome.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, welcome. Thank you.
So we can start off with the first question. So can you just briefly describe Microsoft Mesh in a few sentences and how you, some good use cases that you use it for?
The way to think of Microsoft Mesh, it's this new way of connecting with other people in a 3D immersive space, which gives you a huge sense of co-presence with others. So you feel like you're connecting with them in natural ways, just like you would in real life, but virtually. So it's an ability to bring people together so you feel a stronger sense of connection, you can collaborate better, you get to know each other better.
Okay, and now I guess this was the first time that Mesh is here at the community event or community conference, so you had a booth here. So how people have been welcoming that? I'm sorry, it's been exciting at least.
I can start. For me, it's been honestly amazing. This is the first time I actually attend this conference, but in particular, I think as a new product, it's just priceless to have the direct connection. Having the early feedback from the people that are trying, showing the product to people that have not seen it and just see and sort of inspire them with ideas that, what Mesh can do for them. But it certainly has exceeded my expectations. Tons of interest, tons of people stopping at the booth, tons of very, very interesting questions. Looks like this really is hitting this sort of missing, technology sort of area that people are craving to help connect people more. So it's been really interesting.
Yeah, it's been amazing actually. The response has far exceeded our expectations. We have a booth here and the booth has been full. The lightning talks were full. We had way more people in all the sessions than we thought. And there's so many people stopping by. We just met somebody who said, oh, I was told that I must come and meet the Mesh team so I can figure out I must use Mesh. And that's music to our ears. That's what we want to hear. So it's been great.
Yeah, it's great. It's been a while since it has been building up. So from our perspective, it's also amazing.
Yes.
People that were coming to the booth, what kind of use cases they've been talking about, or how do you use it at the Mesh product group?
So I'll answer both the questions. So first, I'll answer your second question. How do we use it? So at Microsoft, we use it internally for our own team meetings. We use it for, just like everybody else, we went through the pandemic and remote work and hybrid is a norm now. So we have a lot of people on the team who don't get a chance to see each other often. So we do a lot of meetings in Mesh, in the immersive spaces in Teams, because it gives you that sense of being with each other. The team absolutely loves it. I was sharing the story the other day about a team member. We brought some people together in person in Redmond a few weeks ago, and they had not met this person before in person, but they felt like they knew them. And she was like, oh, I met you by the fountain. And I was like, which fountain? And then I realized what she was talking about was she had met them by the fountain in a Mesh experience. And this is how she remembers, and she'll always associate this with them. So, it's a great way for us to bring our team together, build connections. We also use it for large events. Carlos and I have hosted some of our large team meetings, like, the full team all hands, which are very, very popular. People at Microsoft, other teams are using it the same way. We use it for trainings. We use it for onboarding at Microsoft. Lots of use cases like that.
if I may add one that I think has been also really successful, we try to ship in a very kind of agile way, very, very quickly. And we do this sprint reviews, and we're a large team, a couple hundred people that, kind of want to show some of the work that they've done, highlights, lowlights, what's coming, that kind of thing. And so we basically get together in Mesh. And it's a really unique way how people can actually interact with each other, have side conversations, but also be, in front of the entire audience and kind of present their work and be excited about it, and just feels way more engaging than maybe just simple video, tic-tac-toe sort of thing. So.
Yeah. And we just GA'd Mesh, right? A few months ago, we just declared general availability. And we're a global team. We have teams spread all across the world. And that was actually, we did our own celebration. Teams did their own individual celebrations in the location they're in, but then we all got together and had a huge party in Mesh, which was a huge hit. And so it's a great way to bring people together, have really large. And so to your question about how scenarios that people want to use it for, the use cases that are showing up the most are about bringing teams together. People don't have the travel budgets they used to before. So how do you build the connection? How do you get people to meet each other? Trainings is a very strong one. Conferences, like small conferences and meetings, like large scale meetings, is another very important use case that shows up again and again. And then there is that thing about people want to showcase what they've built so that they can show it to others or to their customers. And that seems to be a very common scenario that pops up. But there are, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many scenarios that stem out of that. And we hear very unique things from individual customers as well. It's been great.
Yeah. So continue a little bit. We talked about and mentioned immersive spaces, which are the 3D spaces attendees can join from a Teams meeting. What's your vision of expanding the limit of 16 attendees in such space? Is that you want to keep it smaller and more kind of in these cozy spaces, or do you have an idea if you want to expand that limit?
So, we're in first version of the product that just come out. We're going to continue to work on the scale of the product and make sure that over time you can host larger events and more number of people in an individual room. So we're going to continue to work on that. This is just where we've started. This is not the limit. That said, we do know that there'll always be scenarios which are meant for smaller groups, and you want the space to be like that. If I want to have a small cozy meeting, I have a space to do that. But I want to have an all hands, I have space to do that. I want to host an event and I want to have a space for that. So the way we look at it is space will vary, but what size of number of people you can have in individual rooms will continue to grow, and then it'll be a choice.
Yes, and then of course you have the kind of the custom spaces as well.
Correct. Yeah. Exactly.
Is there? Do you see? Do you have a vision of kind of bringing these custom spaces into like immersive spaces in Teams meetings directly?
Yeah, I think as Navjot said, this is our first kind of launch, and so we're hearing customers' feedback. We certainly want to bring some of the customization. We don't want people to have to, be professional developers to customize an event. We want very, very quick ways for people to brand their environment, to have that in Teams and anywhere else. So we do see a lot of the capabilities kind of coming together as we move forward. But I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, and we do think that there is a path where people would want to have even these custom experiences show up in Teams. It is important. We want, Teams is a massive product with hundreds of millions of people using it. People are familiar with it. This is and we want to make sure that there's full integration of Mesh within Teams as well. You'll still have the ability to build your own custom experiences, but over time, we would like to bring these products together so you can use them from the same space. Like if Teams is where you live, that is what you're used to using all the time, you should be able to access your Mesh events from there.
And I guess it's a balance also, because you don't want to, you want it to be easy.
Yes,
and simple.
Exactly. We
and
want
the more features you throw in there.
Yeah. Exactly. We want to meet you where you are, and if we know that more people live in Teams than any other product right now, so we want Mesh to be available there.
Yeah, it's the hub for work. And going back to the original visions of Mesh, it was like you can use it through Teams and join anywhere. So it's great to hear it's coming to that direction. But I'm going to get back to the one thing you said about that meeting at Fountain. Yeah. That's a great case telling what's the difference between immersive world and the regular 2D meeting. In 2D meetings, we don't create memories.
Yeah.
we don't have that kind of experience.
The
So
spatial connection is a very important thing for humans. We associate many things and we remember them because where we were, what was happening at that time, and space plays a very, very important role in that. And we do think that immersive experiences bridge that gap, and that's why trainings work so well when they're immersive as well, because you have that connection of like you remember it because of what you saw, not just what you heard, and not just right. And that makes a big difference for people. Recall is much, much better when there's a spatial component to it.
Yeah.
And then if you do something with others, it is much, again, very easy to remember and you form better memories of that because you did it with someone else.
I think for me, us humans, right, are very much used to the spatial aspects because we experience that every day, every time, and we have the agency that as I'm talking to you and I hear you coming from this side of my ears, but if there was someone else there, I can walk there. If I'm now interested on that conversation, I can approach them, right? In many ways, you can think about these things like breakout rooms, except in a much more natural human way that I can walk and have that agency and freedom to move around the space and engage with people in different ways. And the fact that yes, all your senses are, at least, well, not all of them, but at least your vision and your ears are engaged in much more deeper ways. It actually, to your point, builds memories. It just feels physically more connected, even though it's digital, of course. But
And you mentioned spatial audio, and I think I read a study that is like having these kind of where the sound is coming from makes it much easier for your brain to process the information as well. So it helps.
exactly. And what you were talking about all the time, I think that's the thing changing our future as well. Well, the world is changing. We know the AI is there. Copilot, age of Copilot is here. You won't be missing anything in these events. Or not. I'm just going to say it differently. If you think about there won't be Copilot sessions, then you are completely wrong. It's full of Copilot, and we are going to be seeing Copilot everywhere and AI infused everywhere. And then I think that's changing how we are working together in the future. And of course, that affects also mesh in that sense, or virtual reality, because things are changing. And how do you see that VR spaces, mesh especially, how it's going to change the way we work, just going beyond this part, and how is there going to be a kind of Copilot AI infusion in mesh?
So yeah, we absolutely feel like Copilot and AI can actually has a very important role to play even in immersive experiences. One, we showed some of this stuff last year, but we definitely think that AI and Copilot can help you with how you use mesh. So this could be maybe using a Copilot to help you create an avatar or customize an avatar, or for the whim of it, or just because today is I would like to come to this conference dressed like this, or I would like a fancy hat because I'm going to do this video cast with Vesa. But we want these things to become very easy, so it's like you can do it very, very quickly and it doesn't take any time. The whole point of Copilot is to make you efficient and make you better at what you're trying to do, right? So get you where you want to be very quickly. Similarly, we think it can help a lot with frankly, environment creation, the 3D spaces that you're trying to create, the objects you're trying to create, so it can help you so that those people who are responsible for creating that environment that you want to be more engaging, we want to make your job easier, make it easier for you to do that. We also think that over time, you can imagine that Copilot is, just like we do in Teams today, there's a Copilot that helps you with the Teams meeting, right? Yeah. There's meeting recall, you can get summary, you can get notes. At the end of the day, what you're using Mesh for is also collaboration and working with each other, and Copilots can help you there as well, both in doing that, making that interaction more meaningful and easier, telling you about topics that may be relevant to you, but also doing the recap for you later. So there are lots of possibilities of how you could use Copilot that could make your immersive experiences even more powerful and meaningful, and we'll definitely be looking at that.
I would also say that there's a number of scenarios that we've been asked to kind of look into, and we're super excited to explore as more longer term. When it comes down to again, in a 3D space, you can think about maybe museum-like settings or like training settings where you can have an embodied agent helping you learn, some of the things. And rather, especially with the, smartness in Copilot, is no longer just a scripted sort of version of a thing that you just have to walk through, but actually ask questions, have that interactivity, have Copilot be grounded on the context that you want them to talk about, and then, augment that with 3D content that can really make a very powerful scenario. So we're super excited to kind of continue to explore how we can bring those into mesh, as we look forward. So.
I can easily think about visioning at the future. You have an AI agent. Hey, we have our own
guides,
guides there,
Yeah.
and thinking about what Copilot can do is also take action.
Correct.
And like you are in 3D space, especially if you are using the headset, there's not that much. It's very difficult to type.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. It could be there helping the team, making notes, putting on tasks, creating
Absolutely.
that. So that's kind of one of the visions I have about the future work.
There is so much potential here. Yeah.
As you think about all the spatial knowledge that makes it in a space, and then they add Copilot to that, all the things that you can do, like, hey, who's here? Hey, who's the one around there? And you can have very interesting sort of capabilities like that.
That's true.
Yeah. So, is there anything you can share what's coming in the near future from Mesh?
Well, we can share some stuff for sure. The team is very, very busy.
Yes.
We are very excited. We shipped in end of January, and now we're getting ready. And we're in that state now that we actually ship new functionality every few weeks. So the product is now in this, just like any other product now in the life cycle of just shipping every few weeks. So team is working on a lot of interesting features. I can't share all of them here.
Of course.
But like I said, there is scale, there is ease of use. We're looking at a lot of features to make it easier for you to host your events, for you to have larger events, for making it easier for the people who are in those events to make that experience better for them about, where are they, how they interact with the presenters, how they interact with each other. We want to make those things easier. We want to make it really easy for you to create your avatar. So there's some interesting stuff there that the team is working on. We want to make it really easy for you to have an avatar that looks a lot more like you. So, there's a bunch of work that the team is doing around that space. We've heard we want to allow you to host, we've been very focused on employee experiences. We know there's a lot of demand to see how we can host things that are bigger and broader. And so the team is looking at some things like that. There's a lot of stuff. Stay tuned. There's a lot of stuff that's coming. By the time, your conference happens, we would have announced a few more things.
Yeah.
And yes, we have an absolutely full backlog. Team is working very hard for and so we think we'll have some exciting stuff to share in next few months.
There's also, of course, a number of architectural improvements that we're driving towards better audio, better networking capabilities, and things that will remove a lot of adoption sort of challenges that people may be running into while deploying this. And again, just really excited to see some of those engineering.
Exactly. Back end is not new buttons, but kind of improving the overall service.
We're looking at new headsets, we've already announced this, so the Apple Vision Pro, so there's stuff that, there's lots of cool, exciting stuff.
Yep. Oh yeah, that sounds really, really exciting. I'm thinking events, I'm looking forward for the day when we can host events in Mesh that are public. Like you could join, and now it's more focused on the internal and looking forward for that, because it's changing these community events into totally, especially if we can get numbers higher and get people in. So it would be fantastic to have a virtual stage there presenting information. So okay. I was already mentioning a bit about upcoming event. Of course, the Metaverse One 2024 is going to be on September 18th this year. So the big question is, of course, are we going to see you there?
Oh, we're excited. We're excited for you to host that event. We will definitely have some presence there. I am not sure if I'll personally be there or not. The dates are not there, but we'll definitely be in spirit, and we'll definitely be
one or another. We'll have Mesh representatives.
We will have Mesh representatives
there
for sure. And yes, we are excited. We're excited to come to share more about Mesh.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward how it's coming, like what's happening between today and September in Mesh, because everything is getting new features all the time. Of course, not all of them are visible for users, but
they're coming.
like it's basically you are going to need an evergreen for mesh really soon. This space and.
I think you'll see a lot of communications coming from us. I'm going to say every month just to keep it simple, but probably faster than that. Just with new and new capabilities and new improvements that hopefully will make it exciting and useful for everyone.
Yeah. So stay tuned. A lot more innovation coming.
Yeah,
That's good.
That's a great ending.
I think so.
Hey, thank you a lot, Navjot, Carlet. It was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And hey, let's see in September.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Metaverse One,
Yeah.
September 18th.
Yes. Metaverse One. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
System repairing. Ready. The future.